Hello everyone, so welcome. We are doing a very cool toned smoky look for the day. I'm really enjoying the way the look came out and I'm so glad that it's a positive experience because I'm using Natasha Denona eyeshadows. I finally got the Glam Palette in the mail and I have been wanting to play with this for the last several days. It's been sitting on my vanity and it's been calling my name, and so I said today is the day. I'm going to sit down and create a look for you guys and give you my first impressions using some of the shades, so stay tuned for more in-depth and more tutorials as I continue to use the palette and get familiar with the formulas and the brands and how everything performs. But I created this very cool smoky look that I actually really love. I think everything worked together really great and I just enjoy that sort of depth and that smokiness. I wasn't quite sure the direction I was going to take with this palette today, but I'm glad that I ended up where I did. So if you want to see how to do the eyes, then keep watching, and then everything else I'll kind of talk you through the rest of the products towards the end of the video. So let's get started. And here's what it looks like. I'll hold it upside down so you guys can see it a little bit better, and I will do some close-ups as well for you. But there is a lot of neutrals. There is a few kind of warm shades with the ones at the bottom, and they are 5 mattes, and then the rest are shimmers. And you can get this at Sephora or through the Natasha Denona website for $65. So this is one of her more, I would say, affordable priced palettes, because if you look at her products, you know that they are quite expensive. One palette is $160 some dollars, and then the other one is like $239. So it's very, very costly. So she has a few of these in this like plastic packaging, which on the back there's little holes that you can actually pop these out and put them into a different palette or rearrange the colors based off of what works best for you. And if you notice in the up close shot that I did earlier, you will see that some colors are labeled center lid, outer lid, crease, transition, blend, smoke, and that's a little different because her other palettes have names to the colors. So this could be something that is quite helpful for those who are starting off with makeup, or for those who want a little bit more direction when you have something palette-wise that's this large and you kind of see all these colors and you're just like, where do I begin? Sometimes I feel overwhelmed and I don't know where to go. Do I mix all these shades? Will it work? So it kind of lays it out. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to follow some of the placement that is outlined here, and then I'm going to do another look maybe tomorrow or another day, just kind of doing my own thing and mixing these colors, because just because it's labeled center lid, crease, transition doesn't mean you have to use them that way. You can use them in any way you want, place them anywhere on the eye. It's just giving you a little bit of direction should you feel like you wanted. So with a big fluffy crease brush, I'm going to start with the color called Crease, and it's this one right here. I'm so excited. It's a very light gray, and I like the fact that they include a really great size mirror, so it's easy to use this at your vanity. And this is my first time using Natasha Denona eyeshadow, so I'm going to be giving you my first impressions. You'll see my reaction as we go, because I'm not quite sure the quality. I'm assuming for the price point and the name, it's going to be good. But everybody's opinion is different, so I've seen a lot of rave reviews. And I thought, you know what, I probably should try this for myself. And that color is quite pigmented, so that's why I'm starting off with a big fluffy crease brush to kind of place that color down and also kind of buff that color and the edges so everything looks a little bit seamless. So that one was pretty easy to apply and blend. Didn't really have any issues, and I think the formula is quite pigmented. Wipe off that brush that I'm using, and I'm going to go into the shade called Transition, which is the one that I talked about earlier. It's that very light color, the very last one in that top row, and it is labeled Transition, and it's that very pale gray color, a little bit of a grayish kind of stone color. And I'm going to go around the edges of this and seeing if I can soften this out a little bit. switch to a smaller crease brush, and I'm going to take the color called Blend, which is a light tan, and this one has a lot more warmth compared to the first two that I used. These are very, very cool. This is going to kind of warm up the look just a little bit, and I'm not using much of this one, just the smallest amount on the very tip of my brush, and I'm going to add that over that crease color that I used, that grayish color. Just a little bit, and it instantly adds a little bit of warmth. I don't know if you can see that because I only did the smallest amount. Just a little bit. Because I love my warm tones, but I'm also enjoying those kind of cooler looks as well. I like the way that looks too. And I'm going to pick up the outer eyelid color here, which is this one here. There's two that kind of look similar, but this one almost has like a different finish to it. This one looks very kind of almost creamy and very metallic, and this one looks kind of more of like a shimmer, but this one's a little bit, I don't know, a little bit more of like a kind of taupe undertone, and this is more silvery looking. So we're going to try the first one and see how those go, and that looks really soft because I can see the marks from my brush in the actual pan. And so I'm tapping off the excess, and this is going to go on the outer part of my eye. I don't know if there's going to be any fallout with this one, but it is pigmented. And I'm going to do that on the outer half of my lid and kind of just join up to that crease color, so there isn't a gap between my lid and the crease. Okay, so this is coming out quite smoky, but that's fine because it's been a while since I've done something really dark. Okay, so I'm going to wipe off that same brush because I feel like that one works really well. And by the way, this is the Instapop crease brush from Real Techniques. It's the smaller one of the two. It comes in a double pack. And I'm going to go in with the center lid color, which is this one here. And this one has that kind of pinky tone, and I think it'll play quite nicely with the shade that I just applied. And this is going to go in the center. And I'm just kind of patting where those two colors meet. Ooh, that's pretty. And again, this one has that same kind of creamy look. I can see the marks in my pan from my brush. It's so metallic and pigmented, even though my brush is dry. It's very, very nice formula. A little bit more here. Then I'm going to wipe off that same brush, and I'm going to go in with the one that says Inner Corner, which is more champagne. This is the one that I have in the center, so you can see the three colors together, and I think it'll play, again, these three together really nicely. And this is going to go in the inner part of my eye and joining up to the center color. And you don't really see too much of a difference between that one and the center lid because they both have that kind of pinky undertone. So honestly, if you wanted to make this look a little bit more simple, you can just use those first two shades, like the one in the center, just take that over 3/4 of the eye and then do that darker gray on the outside. Because like I said, I don't see a difference too much. And there's a lot of sparkle, but it's not glitter, which I am so glad, because I'm not a fan of glitter on a day-to-day basis. Every now and again, sure, but not something that I want in a palette for every day, especially for $65. I don't want to have glitter in there. I want to have shimmers, metallics, mattes. So I picked up a very small brush, and there is a color called Lash Line, which I'm going to use as my eyeliner on the upper lashes and also on the lower lash line. So I'm going to take this one here, which is really dark and matte. Well, that is pigmented. Let's tap some of that off on paper towel. Oh man, that was pretty dark. then I'm going to start blending the edges out with a very small brush first. Just to kind of soften this a little bit. That color was a lot more intense than I expected. I'm wiping off that brush, and then I'm going to take the color called Blend, the same one that I use in the crease with a little bit of warmth. I'm going to use that to blend below that dark color. So I'm going to move up to the upper lash line with the same little detail brush in that same lash line color, the dark one. And I'm going to add this to my upper lash line. And I like that they included a dark color like this and labeled it lash line, because I actually do use really dark eyeshadows as my liner. I feel like it gives you intensity, but it's also very soft, and you can create a smoky effect on the lash line, which is what I like, versus a harsh pencil liner, gel liner, or liquid. Even though I've done that before and I like it, sometimes I just like having a little bit more of a softer look, and that's why I use the eyeshadows. All right, and then I'm going to go back in with that light tan shade called Blend, and I'm going to add just a little bit more to this upper crease area, making sure everything is blended before going in and finishing the look off with some mascara. But so far I think the colors look really nice, and it came out quite smoky, but I'm really liking the colors on the lid. So I think I want to go back and add a little bit more of those shades on the lid before doing my mascara. So I'm going to take a little bit more of the center lid color and just kind of stamp it right in the very, very center. And just kind of add a little bit more to intensify this outer part of the eye. I'm going to use my Maybelline Gel Liner in black, and then I'm going to add some mascara to complete the look, and then we'll go on with a little bit of blush and a little lip. Alright, so mascara is done. I used the Covergirl Exhibitionist mascara to finish the look, and so now we're going to do some blush, and I'm going to go in with the Clinique palette, and this is the Cheek Pop blushes, and this one is called Black Honey, and this one here is Pink Honey, and I showed these in my previous video. So I'm going to take the Black Honey shade and add just a little bit of that, because I do have quite a bit of bronzer on from earlier. And as I said before, everything is going to be listed in the description box for you. And this color just adds a nice rosy color. It looks a little intimidating in the palette because it's honestly quite dark, but it's a very soft formula that just adds a hint of color, and it's easy to work with and blend. And then for the lips, I'm going to do a few different products to kind of create an overall like nude lip. I'm going to start with lining with the Maybelline Nude Whisper Lip Liner. Then I'm going to go over that with the Dose of Colors Liquid Matte Lipstick in the shade called Truffle. And it matches perfectly with the Nude Whisper Lip Liner. And then I'm going to top the liquid lip with some of the Patrick Ta lip gloss in She's Expensive, which is a soft kind of clear gloss with some gold shimmer. And I do like the formula of the Patrick Ta glosses. They have that minty feel and smell to them. They're quite nice. Alright, so that wraps up today's look. I hope you enjoyed that. That was so much fun for me to play with these and actually experience the formula for myself, because there's so many good reviews out there, and of course some palette comparisons, trying to find some dupes out there for this palette. So I wanted to try the formula for myself, and so far my first impressions is that they work really well. They blend quite nicely. I have not used them all yet, so I can't really give you a full in-depth review, so stay tuned for that, because I think I might eventually do that. I specifically chose this one for the everyday appeal to me. I feel like the colors in here are things that I can reach for and use every single day. Create something cool like I did today, or something slightly warmer, and then something a little bit more neutral. Her other palettes, the ones that are still within that $65 range, and some of the other ones that are larger, that are more expensive, have a very distinctive color story, and you will see that if you've taken a look at her website or her product online and Instagram or Sephora. You will see that the bronze palette, it's all bronze, it's all warm, so there isn't a whole lot of variation because it's that one color story. And then some of the other palettes that have like the teals and the greens, although they're beautiful, they're not colors that I would reach for on a regular basis, so that's why I didn't invest in those. I figured I'd choose one that was more every day, and I still may try that bronze palette because I do love bronze eyeshadows, and I think that they are just easy to use for one shadow looks. I feel like it's a color that I can use year round, so I still may try that eventually, maybe the next VIB sale that Sephora has, or just whenever I want to splurge and buy myself something quite fancy. I may pick that one up. So if you have some of the Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes, let me know what you think and what your experience has been with them, because I'm kind of curious to know. And I'll kind of quickly just mention the products for my face. I use the Stila One Step Correct Primer today with 2 pumps of the Milani 2-in-1 Conceal and Perfect Foundation. And then I'm still using the Fit Me Concealer from Maybelline in the shade 10 Fair that you guys recommended. I'm really enjoying that and been using that almost every single day. And bronzer is the Neutrogena Healthy Skin Bronzer, which you have seen in my last video that talked about my top favorite bronzers. So if you haven't seen it, click the link here and I'll take you straight to that video. And then everything else will be listed for you in the description box. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch and for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Subscribe for more videos. Stay tuned for more Natasha Denona palette tutorials with this glam palette. And you can follow me on Instagram. It's always on the screen. And I hope to see you there and see you in my next video. Take care, you guys, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.